Okay, solve the equation. 14x to the second power equals 28x. So there's two answers for x. Now, you have x to the second, but you've also got x not to the second. So you need to apply your factoring properties. So, you need your 0. I don't have it. So this is factoring properties. First, you need to have 0. Now that's an x, so I minus 28x, I hang it up. So I put equals 0, and I go x second and x. There's going to be no constant. So we just have the 14 and the negative 28. Now there's two terms, so it's a binomial, so it'd be GCF dots. Okay, so I have x at the end. I do not have the negative in front. Then 14 and 28. Okay, 14, 28 are in 14's row. So you wrap that up and divide by 14x. So it's going to be 1. X second divided by x just cancels and you have x. Negative 28 divided by 14 is negative 2, so you put minus 2. And then x divided by x, we just cancel that. Okay, so you bring over your 14x, and then you cross it out so it's not there for a distraction. You have a minus, take the 1 off, you don't need that. X is not even to the second, so it can't be, because x is not x times x, that's x second, so no. So you bring over your x minus 2, and then you go F1, F2. So 14x could equal 0, or the x minus 2 could equal 0. So you divide by 14, and you get 0. There's solution number 1. Now here I just add 2, and x equals 2. 0 and 2. Okay, number 2, we have x to the second power plus 14x equals 72. So you have x to the second, and you've got x again, so you're using the factoring properties. Okay, so you need your 0. That's a constant, so it would hang out because there's no constant there for it to go. Then I have x second, x, constant. So you got 1, 14, and negative 72. Now there's 3 terms, so that will be GCF table. Okay, no x, no negative, 1, 14, and 72. That's just 1. 1 times negative 72 is negative 72, so this is a mismatch. It's a positive negative, and it has to add to the sum of positive 14. 72 divided by 1 is 72. That's negative 71, much too wide, so you keep going. 72 divided by 2 is 36. That's too wide, keep going. 72 divided by 3, 24. Too wide, keep going. 72 divided by 4, 14. Okay, we're done. We found it, but we just got to make it positive 14. Well, that's easy. You just switch the signs on each factor. They still mismatch or just turned around. Okay. Now your a, the x second, is multiplied by 1. Okay. So those are easy to simplify. So negative 4, positive 18. And then x, x. So you apply the 1's in front. Those cannot be simplified. You can divide by 1, but they would just stay the same. So you're going to have x minus 4. Same thing here. X plus 18. So F1, F2. So plus 4, you get 4. Minus 18, you get negative 18. Okay, number 3, 3x to the second minus 28 equals 17x. So we have two answers. We have x second, and there's also an x to the first. So again, we're using the factoring properties. So equals 0. So you take out your 17x and you put it in the hangout zone. So now you count your terms, slot them correctly. X second, x constant. So you got 3, negative 17, and negative 28. So that's 3 terms. So GCF table again. So there's no x, there's no negative. 3, 17, and 1. No, they'd just be up in 1's row. Get that out of there. Okay, 3 times negative 28 is negative 84. So that's a mismatch. And we're doing a positive times a negative. And it's got to add to the sum of negative 17. 184. That's negative 83. That's too wide, so you keep going. You quit if it's too narrow. 2 and 42. 2 plus negative 42 is negative 40. Still too wide. I don't quit. 84 divided by 3. 28. 3 and 28. You're still too wide, but you see you're getting closer. It's when it goes over it where you know you're not going to be able to do it. 4 and 21. Okay, negative 17, bingo, found it. Now guys, don't do 1x, 1x. Your x second is multiplied by 3. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense to do 1x, 1x. You put positive 4, negative 21. Then x, x, then 3. 3 and 4, that's in one row, so that you can divide by 1, but it's going to stay the same. 3x plus 4, not 1x plus 4. 3 and 21, that would be in 3's row. Now, here's why you got to put the 3's in front. 3x times 1x is 3x squared. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. Doesn't work if you do 1x, 1x. So you got the 3x and 1x, and they're in the right place. So 3x plus 4 could equal 0. Or 1x minus 7 could equal 0. So you minus your 4, takes us to negative 4. Divide by 3. Don't put that, go second PRB, negative 1 1/3. And here, I should have taken the 1 off, I'm sorry. Okay. So all I have to do is add 7, and that's 7. Okay, number 4, x to the second power plus 1 equals 5x. So there's two answers. You have x to the second, you've also got the x to the first. So that's factoring properties. Okay, so you need to get your 0. Doesn't go here, here. So you slot it. You have x second, you have x, you got your constant equals 0. So x second's 1, then the x is negative 5, then 1. So that's 3 terms. There's no x, there's no negative. 1 and 5 would just be 1. 1 times 1 is 1, okay, so positive, so the signs would match, and you have to try to add to get to negative 5. So negative, negative. 1 divided by 1 is 1. Right away, that's 2 too small of a gap to be negative 5. So that's QF. So that's a quadratic formula. Opposite of B, plus or minus d square root b squared minus 4ac. b squared minus 4ac, remember squared means second power, over 2a, over 2a. So the opposite of b is 5, positive 5. That's the only one you make opposite. Then b here is negative 5. 4, and then a is 1 and c is 1. And the a is also 1. So, put your plus minus there, put your 5 in front, 2 times 1 is 2, now we got to figure out what the heck I'm taking the square root of. So I go parentheses, negative 5 to the second, minus 4, 1, and 1, it's going to be 21. That's going to be irrational, but you just round it, 4.58. Don't put 21 down there. You put the square root of 21, which is 4.58. Now I take 5 plus 4.58 equals, then divide by 2, 4.79. Then you take 5 minus 4.58, divide by 2, 0.21. Okay, then the last page here today. Actually, I want to change this problem here, okay? I want to change it because I said so, okay? Cross this out. Write negative 2x to the second, please, plus 8 equals 4. Okay, change that. So there's two answers for x. You have x to the second, but you don't have x to the first, so you're not factoring. You're using the linear properties. Yeah. So you have x second. If there's not x to any other power in that equation, you need to apply your linear properties. So again, how does linear properties work? Well, you make sure there's only a single x term. There is, okay? Then you get that variable by itself. It's when you go like this, and what do you have for operations? You got a times, second, and then a plus. So you circle the times, you take out the plus. This is linear properties. You're getting the variable by itself. You don't get equals 0. Then you need to divide by negative 2. That's 2, so x to the second equals 2. Then, if you have x to the second, after you do your linear properties, you need to apply the square root to get rid of your second power to solve for x. So it could be positive or negative. So I find the square root of the number 2, 1.41. So that could be positive or negative. So that's how you apply linear properties. Don't be doing a bunch of boxes. So this is not factoring properties, linear properties. You make sure there's only a single x. If they're on opposite sides, take out the smaller one. If they would be on the same side, you V them and add them. Okay? Then you get the variable by itself by doing the opposite operations and a square root if necessary. Number 6, x to the third plus 5x to the second minus 9x minus 45 equals 0. So we have 3 answers because we have x to the third. Are there other x to other powers? Yes, x second and x, so you have to use your factoring properties. Okay, so you're check that, you're at 0. I see 4 terms, so that's a quadnomial, so you do the grouping and then check the taller parentheses for adopts. GCF. You just set up what's on that paper. Little parentheses, tall parentheses. So you put 1x to the third plus 5x to the second. Then you put the negative 9x with the minus 45. So GCF, you have x at the end and it's to the second. Okay? No negative, 1 and 5 is 1. You don't have x there. You do have the negative in front. 9 and 45 is in row 9. Okay, so we're going to divide by 1x to the second here, and then by negative 9 here. So that's 1x third divided by x second. That's x. 5 divided by 1 is 5, then x second divided by x second. That's a complete cancellation. This is going to be the same thing, 1x plus 5. So you put the 1x plus 5 in the shorter parentheses. You put the 1x to the second, 1x second, and minus 9 in that. Now, this one has, the one with the second power, you need to see if that's adopts. This one without the x second, take the 1 off, and that just comes over here as your F1. But over here, that's not F2 because this can go F2, F3 because you have minus, you can take the 1 off. By the way, if that would have been 4x squared, it'd have to go 2, 2. Then x, it'd be 2. If it was a 4, I'd put 2x, 2x, okay? Because 4 is 2 times 2, but we just had a 1. 1x is the same as x. 9 is 3 times 3. Okay, so then you put x plus 3, x minus 3. Then you solve it. So minus 5, you get negative 5. Minus 3, you get negative 3. Plus 3, you get positive 3.